this is nice to have you here. Actually, we are speaking now about the cooperation and eco-advance project, and the goal of the project is to encourage stakeholders and policymakers to do more successful freshwater ecosystem restoration projects across all Europe. And for this, we are very much interested in your experiences and what you could tell us about freshwater river restoration projects in your country. So please, could you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do and about your practices?
So my name is Andris. Now I work for Nature Conservation Agency. I'm Deputy Director General. And then I work for this position for several years at least. So, but before I was a director of one of the regional unit of Nature Conservation Agency. It was Riga Regional Administration. It means the region covers Riga and surrounding of Riga, let's say the middle part of Latvia. And then the Nature Conservation Agency is responsible for protection and conservation species and habitats in whole Latvian, whole territory. So we are responsible for all the things which covers Natura 2000 sites, life projects, restoration of species and habitats, as well as inspection and expertise and everything actually what's regarding to nature conservation. So we are one organization, one institution for all Latvia. And yeah, as I said before, I was the director of Pirig Regional Administration and also the supervisional territory of Pirig Regional Administration was Temeri National Park. And in Temeri National Park, we introduced several life projects, but today's topic is about this restoration of hydrological regime in several parts of Temeri National Park, what we are talking about a little bit later. So, and my background is biology, and also I'm a lawyer. So, and and I have some expertise in these life projects, and especially also I was responsible for implementation of this life project of restoration of hydrological regime in Temeri National Park.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Agnes, and I also work for a Nature Conservation Agency, but I am more connected with just one structural unit of Nature Conservation Agency, and it is Temeri National Park Nature Center. So I am mostly responsible. I know about all the projects that are happening in Temeri National Park. As Andris said, we have had several habitat restoration projects in the national park. I know about them, but my task is mostly not to implement them directly, but to tell people what has been done in a way that they can understand. So I'm mostly dealing with communication, sustainable tourism, and nature education. So in this respect, I have been involved in the projects, but my background is not biology, so not as a biology expert, but more as communication.
It's very important, and it's clear that the community is very important as well. This is the part of the project, and this is nice that we have you here as well. And my next question is about what was the problem you wanted to solve in this life project? Could you just clearly explain in detail about the implementation?
I will explain. Yeah, so the main objective of the project was to establish a hydrological restoration program and carry out hydrology restoration measures within 3 different ecosystems in Temeri National Park. And these ecosystems were bog woodland and swamp forest habitats. So it means some wet forests in Temeri National Park. One project territory was raised bog and raised bog habitats. It was raised bog zalesports or green bog, also in Temeri National Park. And third project territory was floodplain meadows, and it was floodplains of the river Skudropīte. So it means we made some also hydrological restoration in this small river scoot repeater, also in Kema National Park. Let's say the most important steps to implement this live project was to elaborate these hydrological restoration programs for all three territories. It means one for woodlands, one restoration program for raised bog, and one restoration program for floodplain meadows. And of course, next step was after the elaboration of these hydrological restoration programs to implement them. And based on these restoration programs, we developed technical projects in practical restore this hydrological regime in all three project territories. And I think one most important step also was to use LiDAR data or remote sensor data for these projects. So we use this airplane and that made some investigation from air, let's say. And fourth, one important step was to awareness raising about the hydrological restoration regimes in Latvia and German National Park, about the main idea to restore some nature values in protected territories. So it was 4 or 3 main pilot territories and main activities for this project.
What were the drivers for the project?
It was a live project. It means the live project is for implementation of birds and habitats directives. And also this project mostly was aimed to contribute to implement these birds and habitats directives. And our topics was actually different kind of protected habitats, bog habitats, forest habitats, and grassland habitats. But somehow it was also connected with water framework directive, for example, through the measures that decreasing the leaching of nutrients and also in increasing the wetlands ability to absorb high water levels in period with a risk of flooding, and then it means for also by restoring these floodplain meadows, we implement also this water framework directive. But mostly it was about habitats and species.
What is important about this project? What is very special, unique for you in this project and for your country?
I would say there was several quite important things that we did. As I said also previously, one was the using of LiDAR data, because the project was implemented some 10 years ago. And in Latvia, actually, the using of LiDAR data was some innovation, let's say. And we got we got the information about 10,000 hectares about the vegetation, about the ecosystems and habitats in these project territories. And it was basic information to establish these hydrological restoration programs. And after that also for developing these technical projects. Other thing what was quite important was this hydrological restoration programs for each territories, because we developed in each territory, we developed 3 different scenarios what we can do in this territory. First scenarios was to do nothing. The second scenarios in these programs was to, let's say, some maximum program. It means to restore hydrological regime in historical values as it was in some 1920s, 1930s, and it was a maximum scenarios. And third scenarios in these programs was optimal scenarios. It means it was something between the first and second scenarios to elaborate scenarios which are reasonable and possible to reach by existing money, but on existing places and taking in account all these conditions that we have. So it means we developed all three scenarios, but technically and practically we introduced just one, this optimal scenarios of restoration hydrological regime. And one more thing, what was very good in this live project was that we bought three private properties. It means there was three not big but private owned land plots, what was quite crucial for reaching our project aims and targets. And it was possible. Also, it was written already in project proposal to bought three land plots from private owners. So we bought these plots from private owners and consolidate with existing state-owned lands, and it was quite crucial to buy these private-owned lands. And if we just in very short sentences, let's say what we really in reality did in this project, we completely built by soil melioration ditches in total length of 25 kilometers. We made a lot of dams to stop this water, to keep this water in these project territories, even in bogs, even in wet forests. And also we, according to these small rivers and floodlines, we remeandering or we give back these curves or bends of rivers, because in Soviet times the river was straightened. It was like a very straight one pitch. And in our project, we made these meandering systems and then made these bends in the river, and then makes this river not just like a straight ditch, but like a normal flowing river with bends and floodlines. So it was main topics or main steps in this slide project.
And maybe question for Agnes, how was the project focused on the community in Tara?
We did a lot of communication during this project. Actually, it brought up all the unclear questions. Well, it brought up the actual knowledge of local inhabitants about hydrological regime and about their knowledge about wetlands in general. So there was it was quite challenging in regard of public relations, because Temeri National Park is a wetlands area already, and we are a challenging. It is a very challenging territory already for people to live in. We already have lots of waters, and we have flooding in spring, so these are very, very sensitive issues. And by mentioning that we are going to close some of the melioration systems, you can imagine how it was. But we did, and I think that we did an excellent job. It was challenging, and we had a lot of meetings, and we did some extra work as well for local communities, just to raise this awareness about different kinds of wetlands and their role in actually mitigating the effects of flooding. But it took a lot of explanation work, and also during the project we did make 2 movies. I will send you the links because they are also available in English, which explain. One is about raised bog, which is probably not so much the focus of this project, and the other is exactly about meandering this small river back to its natural shape, and explaining what is the role of it and that it will not affect badly the territories. On the other hand, just on the contrary, it will have positive effects on mitigating these floods. But it was very, very challenging because we are a wetlands area already.
Yes, I could imagine. And the other question is about the funding. Where did the funding come from? And Did the funders impose any specific conditions? It was only from LIFE program or from different sources?
It was 75% from LIFE project, LIFE Nature Plus program, and then extra money we got from the state budget, like a co-financing. And in some activities, actually, we saw that the funding is not enough. We got some extra jobs to do, extra challenges to solve, and then also we spent some other organization money to end to end this project. But mostly, yeah, it was actually originally it was just two sources: 75% for Urban Commission by life funding, and 25 from national budget.
And in the case you are going to start the project again, would you do something differently?
Yes, I think Agnes will add after that, but I think it was really necessary or crucial to start with negotiations with local municipality, first of all, and some informational campaigns or giving more information to local society, which lives close to the project territories, to tell about everything. Because, as I said, this project was with history in 10 years back. Nowadays, probably people are more advanced and more knowledge. But anyway, everything which is connected with touching some hydrological regimes to restoration regimes, people think they can impact their private properties, some living places, some settlements or towns. And it is not the same as restoration just in some forests or grasslands, but by touching the hydrological regime, it is quite sensitive. And also quite important is to start very early also negotiations with some also national authorities, because in our project, it was first time in Latvia that the full environmental impact assessment was prescribed for our activities. It was surprise for us. It took 1 extra year to end or to go through all this environmental impact assessment, but it was decision from this environmental state bureau to apply for this. So it means it was it was not prescribed or not thought in our project proposal. But yes, communication, implementation, and involving local municipality and societies is crucial for such kind of projects, I think.
Were there things that you wanted to do but could not?
Yeah, I think these two questions are linked between each other a lot. And I totally agree, because initially when the project was written, it included much more public relation activities than were left in the end. It was planned on broader level, and I totally agree with Andris that in these cases, when you are planning so challenging and big activities in a wetlands area, this communication part is absolutely crucial for carrying out any activities. Because it can even end up, if there is no awareness at all levels, then you might end up in not being able to implement the project at all. So this is really very crucial. And what we wanted to do more, and we didn't initially, we were planning detailed hydrological research of all territory of Ķemeri National Park, not just the project area. It would have been very beneficial, because nobody has ever done such a thing for the whole territory of the park with all those LIDAR data and so on. Initially, we wanted to do it for the whole national park, but in the end, the budget was cut and we had to stick to the project areas. But I think that even then we managed to do some extra work, not as much as we planned, but we managed to do this research for a wider area, and this data was very, very beneficial and very good for the local municipalities. But if we would have more money, we would have done it for the whole park.
Your project is very much specific for the location and for the country as well, wetland area. But could you tell us if there is something which would be transferable?
I think all the methods what we used was very beneficial for other project implementers, starting with later data using also remote sensitive remote sense data, because you can cover a big area just in several days if the weather is good, and it's very good base for next steps to elaborate all kind of programs, technical projects, and so. As I think, to possibility to vote some land plots in project activity territories is quite important, because if the finally private landowners disagree with us with technical projects, it means you should change your project, you should change your plans to escape or avoid these private owners. And it is always not the best way. So if it is possible, then buying the territories, in particular territories in national parks, it's quite good actually. And also this elaboration of hydrological restoration programs in different scenarios, it also gives a very good possibility to evaluate all these scenarios, and probably maybe this optimal or maximum scenario will be able to implement maybe say next steps if the money comes more from some sources or so. So it means you always have a possibility to do probably much more in the same territory as you did before. Also, in our case, we, as I said, we completely fulfilled several melioration systems, but mostly we just made the small dumps to stop this water movement in the territory. But for maximum program, actually, it is always also after that to fill up all the ditches that is possible to completely stop this water movement, to completely let's say extract this, to completely let's say end working of any melioration systems if it is aim of the project. So it means also this elaboration of restoration programs with different scenarios is good for planning and probably also for future steps.
At what stage of implementation is this project today?
All the works have been finished. They were already finished in 2018. So now all the territories where the works were implemented are left to regeneration at their own pace. And we are doing nothing more there. We are just letting nature come back slowly and just monitoring the situation, how it happens, how fast it happens, and is everything okay? And we are organizing different excursions and public activities there to tell about the projects, to tell about the results and show the results. So this is what is happening now.
I can just add that we are implementing two different monitoring programs in these territories. One is a monitoring of vegetation because of the changing of the water level or restoring the water level. Also, the vegetation is changing. The changes are quite slow, but it gives a good look how it is happening, and is everything fine. So it means in some 10-15 years should be some change in vegetation. The trees should be disappeared, and then some sphagnum mosses and other plants should appear in these territories. And second, this monitoring of water level around these pressure territories, just to see how this hydrological regime is stabilizing, because the most important for such kind of ecosystems, which are quite dependent on water table, is to stabilize this water regime, not to allow to big fluctuations in spring or autumn times, but to have this stabilization of water level. It means also the ecosystems, forests, grasslands, and bogs can adapt to this stable water level, and it is crucial, to stabilize these water levels. And then, so this is what we are monitoring. And third part, I think, also by these excursions and then visiting these pilot territories, actually we can see also by eye that the changes is happening, the territories is changing, and then I think in some 15, 20 years, we will see really other ecosystems, other habitats by restoration of these hydrological regimes, as it was before the implementation of this project.
What do you see as the main challenges for freshwater restoration projects now?
For Latvia case, I think not only in our experience, but around the Latvia, one is this really restoring the historical shape of rivers, because in Latvia we have a lot of straightened rivers, which are functioning like melioration systems nowadays, but there is no biological values for these territories. Also, the ecosystem services provided by these straightened rivers are not so much. And then, of course, one thing is just to give back this historical shape of rivers. Second is, of course, the pollution of waters, because nitrogen and phosphorus coming in the freshwater habitats. It made a lot of vegetation in the water bodies. And of course, this removing of nitrogen and phosphorus, and then removing of all this organic stuff from the rivers, from freshwaters, is quite important. And of course, restoration of habitats, habitats for fishes, habitats for some insects and birds, of course, floodplains, restoration of floodplains to prevent floods, and then so. Yeah, I think there are a lot of challenges for restoration freshwater ecosystems in Latvia, and the same also around the Europe.
You pretty well described the situation. What we but well, the challenge is for freshwater restoration, again, from the point of view of public relation and communication, is again this awareness. People are still not, because we are quite in a good position in Latvia. At least there is an overall understanding that Latvia is a green country and everything is fine. And so sometimes we are facing that really we need to spend, do we really need to spend money on projects like this? Better give it to elderly people and to solution of social problems and so on. So this is also quite a challenge that people sometimes still don't realize the importance of this biological diversity, and that restoration of these natural ecosystem services, that it's actually for the benefit of the society as well. There is still a long way to go here. That is from the communication point of view.
Just one thing to add, actually, the water ecosystems are quite sensitive, because if you are talking about the big water ecosystems like big lakes or long rivers, all the ecosystems well connected. It means if you are doing something one place in water body, in the river and the lake, it can be impact some downstreams in the river or in other coast of the lake. So you should always be aware that you are doing right things in the right place, and you always keep in mind that your activities can impact the same ecosystem, the same water body somewhere else in some other place. So it is well connected. ecosystem, and also in other projects, we always should explain to people that if you have something doing in one coast of the lake, it can be or cannot be impact in some other coast of the lake or the river. So it means that any activities in these ecosystems can make some impact in other place.
What would you recommend to somebody wanting to implement a restoration project to do as priority number one?
In my point, I think we are thinking about this freshwater ecosystems, then to minimize all kind of reason why we should restore actually this ecosystem. Mostly it is about the pollution from agricultural land, from settlements, from cities and towns. But of course, first of all, it is very important that cut down the root of this problem, what we are solving by the project. Right? Another thing, of course, is to make some focus not only about the biodiversity, but more speak about and more speak loudly about ecosystem services, what every people in society can benefit from this project. And then because people that understand better, if we can talk about the nice places for recreation or fishing or any other things, it is more understandable for people as just to name some species and habitats that we are going to improve. So ecosystem services, approach of ecosystem services is a good way to communicate all things, I think.
What would you recommend that they try to avoid?
Avoid not conversation with local people because sometimes it happens that we are getting done the project, we are going the official way to approve the project, we are slowly starting to implement the project, and only up in case if somebody sees or have some questions and so on, we are starting to communicate about what we are doing, why we are doing, and it can be also too late, or it can be to give the project some big trouble because people are using different channels and sources to stop something what they can understand or what they disagree. So it means not to do everything secretly, but start with wide public access to all the information and everything what we are doing. So it is most important. Yeah.
My next question is, do you have any suggestion for your government or the European Commission as to measures that might help enable more successful restoration project? And do you think that the new natural restoration law is well focused?
I will start with some suggestions. But I think in European level, also national level, it is important to put in agenda very high all the restoration measures for freshwaters, but not only for freshwaters. But of course, if you are thinking directly about freshwaters, of course, sometimes they are telling that the freshwater system of freshwater is like a blood system for people. So it gives life, stops, and everything to species and habitats around the water bodies and lakes and rivers. And of course, we have a very challenging to think in the same time about the nature conservation, nature restoration, and agriculture, economical development, and everything. So it means it should be declared that the restoration of nature values, which gives for people different kind of benefits, is crucial for European society, and then it should be very high in agenda, not only politically but also financially. Should be some available resources for restoration measures in freshwaters and so. And then in local level, I think it's very important when local municipalities develop their own special plans for municipalities. Also to think about this not let's say, how to use water bodies and freshwater ecosystems in the local level, in the level of municipality. What are the threats for them? What can be benefits and solutions to avoid the threats? And just to plan restoration or conservation of freshwater ecosystems also in the municipal level, starting with the special plans in local municipalities. So it is about what I was thinking. I'm not so familiar with this nature restoration regulation or law at the moment, because in Latvia are still developing our national program for implementing this restoration law. So it means we will have the discussions and negotiations about what are the topics or priorities for Latvia. But we see that we have several live projects which are implementing activities regarding the freshwater ecosystems restoration, and so it means it is important, of course, but I'm not, let's say, I cannot say it is well focused in this EU level of nature restoration law or not. Most important for us is to put in the right place in national levels this restoration of freshwaters in Latvia, I think.
In summary, what are your key messages for those facing the restoration challenge?
Keep going, keep going. First of all, not to break anything, and it can be challenging, of course. In our case, we prolonged our live project for 2 times. And actually, it took 96 months to implement this live project, because all these activities regarding to local society and environmental impact assessment and everything what was not planned in the project proposal. But anyways, the main target was clear. The aim was clear, what we want to do in these territories in Čemer National Park. And actually we found different ways to realize this project. So it means, first thing is take this seriously and then just keep going by any obstacles what we can reach, find the solutions to just realize a project. And of course, the support is very important to have support from higher, let's say, authorities that are supporting your project idea. You're not alone with your project, with your problems. And if the support is good enough, it also motivates people also in project to continue all the work and continue all these things what were planned.
Yeah, some last message from Agnes.
No, I just would like to supplement. If Andris started with "go for it," I can just add "go for it" and talk about it. That you just need to get the society on your part, even maybe before the project is implemented. And in such projects, as I already said, this communication part is not just a tick which you have to do in the project. It's absolutely crucial for successful implementation of the project, if you want to stick to the times, if you want everything go as planned.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.